Alright, this is Ractus, doing the Myriad Song character creation with GriffinVarro. How are you doing today?
Oh, wonderful.
Alright. And you know how much about Myriad Song?
So far I know that it's sci-fi, takes place mostly in space, has like a fallen empire kind of vibe to it, bunch of different species, maybe a little bit pulpy from what I understand of it.
It can
Like it
be a
has more of a
mix.
modern interpretation, but pulpy might be closer, I suppose.
I mean, that's a word you could use. I mean, the fact that we're gonna have one of the game's creators in the game, hopefully, will mix
Uh,
my own interpretation of it back down to what it's supposed to be. He'll often correct me, so hopefully we get that going. Like often I'll use standard computer lingo and things like that, and he'll be like, "No, it's more like vector graphics," and I'm like, "Okay." So that's helpful.
of course.
But I believe we already had discussed before what kind of character you might be going for, so we'll just go down through the creation steps of a character and keep those things in mind. And you can correct me if you've changed your mind on some things. But having already been familiar with how Ironclaw character creation works, you know that we first assign your basic traits: body, speed, mind, will. Unlike
hmm
Ironclaw, your species is relegated to legacy, where you come from, how you use your strange alien powers, etc., and of
Of
course your
course.
career. So, any idea
Alright.
how you'd like to align those?
Now that's a fun question. I imagine speed and maybe mind or will being relatively high. Maybe career. I wasn't thinking too much about how strong my character would be, like in their racial kind of attributes. So
Well, did you want
that
to skip this for now and then go through everything else and then assign it last? We could do that if you feel more comfortable that way.
I think so because then we'll have a little bit more clarity on like what we actually need to make the character work.
Okay.
Whereas like the idea won't necessarily change if he's like more or less buff.
All right.
I suppose I should go ahead and spoil what I'm aiming for the audience here. I am interested in making an anarchist, a space spider anarchist. And what form that takes, we're going to find out today.
Yes. All right. So next step would be your legacy, which would basically be like the species in an Ironclaw game or any other Cardinal game. And I believe
Alright.
you've chosen to go with the Rax.
I believe that is what they call, yes, Rax, the spider people.
Yes, the Rajaya, singular being Rax. Anthro-arachnoid race. I believe they're what is the leader called? Like the Space Empress, who is known to see through the folds of space and time.
Well, you can't have spiders without a queen, so that makes sense.
Yes, and they have their own little sort of empire where each planet under their control they have their own little different mutated species or specifically bred species of Rajya to then perform specific tasks, which is always a good way to differentiate yourself from different members of your own species. So we're just going to go ahead and put down Rax as your legacy.
Alright.
Let's see here. Rax, get Rax clinging. And we'll go down afterwards and cover what all these things mean.
Yes, finding out what they're good at is going to be very important to this.
And you also have an extra pair of arms. Rax, your skills are athletics, craft, and presence.
Hmm, okay. I think presence might be getting a good bit of use, so we'll kind of mentally note that for now.
Pardon all of my typos. Let's put a space in there so we can remember.
It's okay, I'll
Alright.
put all your typos back in later.
Yeah, when I send it back to you.
Alright. What's next?
Alright. Well, first off, Rack's clinging, so you know. Your hands and feet have sticky threads on them that allow you to climb sheer surfaces. On any turn where you exhaust this gift, you may cling to a surface. Only rushing water, spiky thorns, or frictionless anti-climb surfaces cannot be climbed. Any wall or ceiling is now uneven ground, and basically like difficult terrain in D&D, which I know you're familiar with.
Hmm.
You can cling to a ceiling upside down. While clinging, you may claim a bonus D12 to dodge any effect with a push or a drag effect, so you can't be moved against your will, or you have a resistance to being moved against your will, effectively.
Pretty cool. And
And
so how often does this gift refresh?
with a recharge action, so basically an action on your turn to refresh it.
So as,
Similar
so
to
as long as I
flying, as
keep
you're
thinking
familiar.
about it then.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the important part, because fly does the same thing.
Yep.
So that'll be extra fun to use.
And I believe you. I mean, do you need me to tell you what an extra pair of arms does?
I think I can imagine. I'll just, wield like 4 Uzis or something.
Well, I mean, they count as offhands, which is why it's a technical thing. But I mean, I don't remember if Uzis are offhand off the top of my head.
Well,
Although
you have 4 guns. Does it really matter if you aim anymore?
it would if you're a veteran. But
Could.
to note, unlike an Ironclaw, where an extra set of arms is only mechanical to the effect of having extra offhands for like wielding two-handed weapons,
Hmm.
in this one you can actually exhaust the gift of extra pair of arms to brace against the damage, reducing damage by 1 point. So you can basically sacrifice your arms until you can get them healed to reduce the damage done to you.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So kind of like how I fight when I'm playing an LARP. Just hold out your hand, let someone hit that, and then smack them in the face.
There you
Always
go.
fun.
You got it.
I like it.
That would then refresh after you've been healed, which is a rest.
Alright, gotta regenerate that arm first before you get to use it again.
You got it.
Alright, so this is looking fun.
All right. And upbringing is our next category.
Alright.
And what did we talk about? I know you had thought about aristocrat, but was there any other ideas you had to what sort of world you might come from, or what sort of upbringing rather?
I think aristocrat was mostly your idea for fitting kind of into spider society, and maybe starting off with some power.
Well, it's when you described what was the words you described to me your home world might have been like.
I think I was going with general oppressive tyrannical feel. Reasons to uprise kind of thing.
Right. Because aristocrat is described as you are from an aristocratic bloodline that the syndics chose as overseers for the empire. Your genes have been uplifted to grant you potential for xenoharmonic power. Your family once ruled the empire on behalf of the syndics, now not so much.
Right. So I
Uh,
have the feeling that aristocratic would give it more feeling of being part of the system and then rejecting it. Whereas like going with anything else would be like being under that system and then fighting up. I think both are really good, but
I mean,
I think
I can give you other options if you like.
sure, shoot me some other options. Let's see how they feel.
There's the underworld upbringing. You grew up in a place where the authorities were gang bosses and crime lords. You might have grown up in a poor ghetto, denied the privilege of the richer neighborhoods, or maybe you were raised by the Zyganes, the aforementioned space hobos that live without law that I mentioned to you before.
Of course,
As a
space hobos.
caravan from one star to another, whatever your sad story is, you've hardened your heart and you've learned to deal with the harsh realities outside of civil society.
Hmm.
I might also recommend not so much a paramilitary, but maybe a cross-cultural background. You're from a world where many people mix together, so you're used to people of different from you. Uh, Maybe they need a little more chlorine in the air. Maybe they melt at room temperature. Maybe they're even downright odd. Whatever it is, they're all just people, and it doesn't faze you anymore.
I'd say that definitely sounds like the social kind of background.
It definitely is.
All right.
Characters with a cross-cultural upbringing learn how to talk to a variety of people. No city is too large where they can't find what they need. No people are too strange they can't have a fun conversation with them. They are the tourists of the universe.
All right. And I'm going to take a guess that Underworld mostly has never mind. Just answer me. What does it get? What kind of skill focuses here?
Upbringings don't get skills; they get gifts. They get bonus gifts to
Gifts.
help your character. So if you want to look at it gift-wise, Underworld gets Black Marketeer and Streetwise to help them deal with, let's say the gray market and
Hmm.
otherwise the criminal element. Let's see, cross-cultural would get a bonus to Cosmopolitan, which is dealing with other species and such, and Gossip,
Right.
to be able to talk to other people.
Hmm.
Whereas the Aristocratic one gets the Aristocratic loadout, which is better gear from the station that you come from, and Zen Harmonic Finishing, which is basically combat oriented to help you with the gear that you're going to get from being an aristocrat.
Hmm. So we have our three choices here. All of them sound really good. And it just becomes all kind of a matter of theme, I think, then.
Yeah, depends on how you envision your uh, anarchist character deals with themselves or their background.
Right.
If you're the disheartened aristocrat child that seeks like to get back at your parents, or you've seen the folly of their ways, and you um, example might be what's his name? What was the captain from the Hunt for Red October? Ramius. If you feel like you're Ramius, where your father was the pride of the Soviet Navy or the Soviet Party, and you were like, I hate that guy, I hate the party, and I'm gonna get back at them. If you want to be like a Ramius, that would be maybe aristocrat.
And I think that kind of storyline sticks out to me the most and has more openness to like initial complexity, let's say.
Okay, so you want to go aristocrat then?
Yeah, let's go with aristocrat. And it also gives us a little bit of that Zen harmonic option to think about, which sounds really cool.
Alright, so let's go ahead and grab what gear you're going to get, because it gives you the aristocratic loadout and Zen harmonic fishing. Zen harmonic finishing, by the way, before rolling any attack or counter with a Zen harmonic weapon, which you'll be getting, I think, 3 of, you declare you'll use this gift. By carefully manipulating your Zen harmonic weapon, you may reduce the damage by -1 to add the finish condition. Myriad Song handles damage slightly differently in that you'll have a bunch of hashtag descriptors, and the
Hmm.
different hashtag descriptors will add damage based on things. In this case, the finish conditional damage bonus effect means that targets that were already vulnerable, hurt, or injured will suffer +2 damage. So in this case, as
Hmm.
an harmonic finisher, if you tap it, will subtract 1 from the damage you do, but add +2 if any of those effects apply.
All right.
Right, and let's see what you get so I can add it to your gear. Your aristocratic loadout means you will be getting 1 Mezzo Forte outfit. As I've said before, instead of just having simple armor, you'll have outfits which will give you bonuses. Like a lot of items will have, say, a survey of D8, which represents you having like a
Hmm.
flashlight or a GPS or things of that nature. So if I
Right.
say you're out in like suddenly the room goes dark, be like, okay, well I'm gonna roll my observation and a survey bonus of D8. I'm like, okay, well that means you break out your flashlight and you start searching the room, that sort of thing.
All right.
Let's see.
Little less minute detail of equipment, more general usage. I like that.
Right, it's all added in.
Okay.
You also have a Zen harmonic whip,
Nothing says fighting for the revolution like a whip.
a Zen harmonic pistol. Nothing says slavery like a whip. I mean, you do come from both sides. A Zen harmonic blade. By the way, this is all like very high-tech stuff, and this is a game that can also feature people shooting at you with bows and arrows because there are primitive worlds out there where they haven't seen such high-tech stuff as yours. You will seem like magic to them.
I am but a god.
And as well, you will also have a signet ring representative of your station. Maybe not so much your station, but the upbringing that you come from. And now we come to career. And I believe you already had some ideas on this.
Yes, I think we tossed a couple around. I was initially thinking something along the lines of insurgent, but you did bring up something like being sort of a pilot, Zen harmonic, space manipulator kind of guy with an ensemble.
Ah, yes, you were originally thinking agitator to be an actual anarchist that goes out there and like riles up a crowd, right? But then we were talking, or I mentioned to you what Zen harmonic powers were, and
Mhm.
you expressed a desire to, what was it, leitmotif that you wanted to look into?
I think leitmotif fits the kind of theme best, but the space-time manipulation was the one you were recommending, I think.
Well, I mean to go into a leitmotif user from character creation, you would have to start out as a conductor.
Mhm.
Uh, the description of conductor is specializing in interstellar navigation. The conductor uses their mental training and talent for navigation to unlock Zen harmonic power. Choose this exotic career if you want to start play with disjunction or rondo gifts. I mean, it doesn't specifically say leitmotif, but the stuff that conductor gets is required to be a leitmotif. Disjunction being the ability to open rifts in time and space to call down the power of the Mog single to disrupt other things, and Rondo the ability to travel through space using, again, the Mog Tower signal. The Mog
Mhm.
Towers being the devices left behind by the Syndics, to like basically span space with their signal. It's basically how you're able to travel from star to star without, or I'm sorry, with maps and such, because it's almost faster than light communications. You
Right.
basically it's almost impossible to find a world without a Mog Tower um, normally, because the Mog Tower lets you know that there's a world there. You don't want to jump in the middle of deep space. Basically, is what I'm telling you.
Right. Usually pretty bad to do that.
Yeah.
So I think the concern kind of in the back of my head is I have all this cool Zen harmonic gear, and if I'm not a conductor and using it, how useful is all that gear really?
I believe most Zen harmonic stuff works on your basic fighting principle. I will just double check for you.
So I wouldn't have to be a special space magic guy to get use out of the Zen harmonic stuff I have.
No.
I could just be good at shooting and whipping people, and that
Yeah.
would be fine
Say,
too.
for example, your Zen harmonic pistol uses speed, mind, and shooting if you wanted to use it.
Hmm.
So you don't have to be a magical space wizard, as it were, to tap into it. You could just be a normal. Basically, here I'll read this for you. For example, the Zen harmonic whip is a long tendril at the end of a 20-centimeter stick. While cracking the whip can blister the skin, the disrupting wave that surrounds it causes the most damage. It's mostly the technology in the item itself is the impetus for it, and not so much
Mhm.
uh, what you would think as magic. because enharmonics is not magic, it's just a not understood technology. The syndics perfected it,
Mhm.
and we are just basically left with it behind. That's why nobody's making new enharmonic stuff. It's just
Right.
you're
It's
using
not
what's
really
left.
magic, but mechanically, I'm kind of envisioning it as like fulfilling that role in a mechanical game.
Right.
Um. So, big question is, do I just want to be straight up the cool aristocratic guy who's fighting for freedom, or do I want to be a walking JoJo reference with a stand?
Do you
That's
want
the
to be
big
a guy
question
who
here.
stands out in the middle of a crate yelling at people? Or do you want to be a guy already surrounded by people yelling at people on crates?
Uh, I think I probably want to go with Agitator here because what I'm envisioning the role of this character in the group might be would be to help with the rallying and give everyone bonuses, be kind of a bit supportive.
Alright. The agitator uses their talent with words and sense of discretion to promote a forbidden cause. Choose this illegal career if you want to start a revolution.
Perfect.
Alright, putting down agitator.
And if the opportunity presents itself later, maybe I'll move into leitmotif and just give myself an extra bit of I'm cool and special. We'll see how things pan
Always
out.
possible. Agitator starts with danger sense, which gives you a bonus to your initiative rolls, as well as the ability to spot danger that's coming, and oratory, which is, of course, a bonus to speaking to groups.
Perfect.
Skill-wise, the agitator gets deceit. Some people you have to lie to get them to
Of
help you.
course.
Evasion, which is not only well, it replaces dodge. You evade danger. And it has separate other abilities we can get into as they come up. And presence as well.
There we go. Double presence. That's fantastic.
Yes. Now then, um, hold on one second. Let me get back to your relevant section. Myriad Song features, instead of choosing three gifts of your own, we have these pre-built things that allow you to select what you want. What
Hmm.
did we talk about before? I think we were talking about Commander versus Ensemble.
Right, and I think I have a pretty good idea of what ensemble is, which is kind of having a crew, really.
Yeah, you get ally of your choice, which is like basically starting off with your second in command. You have the gang of irregulars, which you roll for from session to session to see who's with you that day to help you out. And you also have true leader, which allows you then to rally better those people around you. That's
Mhm.
ensemble. And commander would give you the ability to again, true leader, rally people better. You would have veteran because this isn't your first rodeo. You know how to get things done. And resolve, your strength of will allows you to handle being shot at or, you know, damage. It allows you to handle damage better.
Right. And I think, from a story-wise perspective, the choices between being at the start of the career and building up to a revolution, or having one kind of already kind of going.
Now, I mean,
And
these are also just my suggestions. If you have any different ways you want to take this and you want to just like voice it out, I might be able to pick you a better package.
well, like I said, the initial idea was kind of insurgenty, but I think we've kind of strayed from that, and we're picking like a different, more social path. So I think
Well, I mean,
commander and ensemble fit very nicely.
if you're going socially, there's also the smooth talker, which is
Hmm.
fast talker, a bonus to try and speed talk your way through something. Pacifism, which is a bonus to your defense so long as you haven't attacked anybody. And there's also trickery, which might go well with your deceit to try and trick somebody.
Right. Um. Oh, Turtle brings up a good point. We did not change our stream title at all.
That's fine.
Whoopsie do. Uh, But I think I have to go with ensemble here because that just sounds like fun to kind of do in a game.
Yep, start with
Every
your
time
own
I
group.
play D&D, I think leadership would be fantastic to have. Here, I can just make that dream come true. So let's do it.
All right, you are the ensemble, which means we should probably do your ally after we're done with you. Allies are easier in this game, but they don't get the upbringing or anything like that, and they're all D6s and stats. All we have to do is decide their
Mhm.
legacy, and we decide their career.
Maybe they could be the commander. We'll think about it.
Well, the commander is more of the chosen gift set, which they don't get. I mean, they could be your
Well, I'm thinking
stormtrooper
thematic.
or whatever, that sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe this character needs a strong uh first a strong bodyguard or something like on its side. We'll think about it. We'll come up with some ideas.
You'll notice now that I'm also typing in combat save because as a major character in the game, you will have the gift of combat save to, once per session, save yourself from dying as need be.
Of course, always good.
Have you any idea what your character's personality would be?
Ah, now there's a fun. I know what it is, but I'm trying to figure out what the word for it is. Which honestly, agitator is pretty close, but I need a personality word for it.
I mean, what's the sort of thing that you're thinking of?
I'm thinking freedom fighter, but how do I make that a personality term?
Well, I mean, what sort of freedom fighter are you imagining? Because that's a wide spectrum of. Are you thinking like a Hugo Chavez, or again the Ramius that were previously discussed, or
hmm Ah, difficult.
as a wide assortment of different character types?
I'm thinking of very much as being the type who wants to fight for justice and freedom for its own sake. Seeing people oppressed just kind of puts them to anger and into motion. So, what can we say that is like?
Liberator?
That's a good one.
Is that a
That
valid
is good. I like.
personality? I mean, let's go ahead. Let's put in
I,
Liberator then. Does that work for you?
I think so. I think I can definitely find a way to say I am going through this personality.
All right. All right. We do have to assign skill marks, something I forgot when I was doing this before.
Oops.
Unfortunately, in this one, it's not 12 like it is in Ironclaw. It's only 9, with, of course, no more than 3 in each. Um, your skills selection is also reduced because they were streamlined.
hmm
So you have academics, which is higher education, book learning, and medicine. You have athletics, which is climbing, jumping, swimming, and gymnastics.
Probably
What
good to have one of those just to kind of double up on that ability.
what I'll do here is things you note down, I will just add in real quick, and we'll just change them out as you decide.
Right. Make the wish list and then kind of pare it down.
Right. Okay, and we also have craft, which is repairing and making things. We have deceit, which is lying, cheating, and disguise.
hmm
We have endurance, which is working through fatigue and deprivation.
Right.
We have evasion, which is dodging, hiding, and sneaking, all wrapped into one.
And we did get a bonus to that already, didn't we?
Evasion, we have not at the
Danger
moment.
sense gave it to it.
Yeah, well, I mean that depends on. That's probably more towards like an observation thing, or when again comes to initiative, would be a bonus D12. Let's go ahead and put that
Mhm.
down for your initiative area, so we don't forget.
Always good.
You have fighting, which is hand-to-hand combat. You have negotiation, which is debate, persuasion, and reasoning.
Might want a little bit of that.
All right. We have observation, which is perceiving the world around you.
Hmm.
Presence, making yourself recognized, respected, or feared.
And there's definitely ours right there.
You want me to go in? Well, we can just throw that in on one of the other ones you already have.
Yep.
Or I'll just type it in anyway. Psyche, understanding and wielding extraordinary and extra-dimensional powers.
Nah, not necessary yet for this character.
Yeah, if you had gone the conductor road, that would have been an important one.
Hmm.
Questioning, which is gossip, interrogation, and psychology.
I can see that being important. But we might want to drop that later, but we'll mark it for now.
Yes. We have shooting, which is ranged combat.
And I do have a Zenharmonic pistol, and I do have the whip, so I should be able to use those to some degree.
Alright. We have tactics, fighting alongside others.
That's probably a good thing to have, I think. It's the role I'm kind of going for.
Alright, and the last one is transport, working with transportation such as cars, spacecraft, and riding animals.
I'm an aristocrat. Other people drive me.
True, this is true. So far you've marked off athletics, negotiation, presence, questioning, shooting, and tactics. And again, you have 9 marks total, with no more than 3 in each.
Alright, so now we just really want to optimize this, and I almost want to just throw my faith into you for this, because I understand that you know how to optimize them, and you can actually see it on your screen.
Well, I mean, again, do we want to be combat optimized, or do we want to be talking optimized, or do you want to spread the gambit?
I definitely want to be more talking optimized, and we know which parts of talking I want to be good at.
Well, I mean, do you want to threaten people, or do you want to, you know, reason with them?
Probably reasoning, but I figure presence can definitely make a good point of just being there, making a speech and gathering attention.
Alright, so how about we just put like 2 into presence and then 2 into negotiation, so you can reason with them, but you can
Hmm.
also get in their face if you need to.
Right, and with the 2 extra dice from career and legacy, I can really get in people's faces.
Yes. Alright, so that's already 4 down. It means you have 5 left. Do you
Hmm.
want to keep athletics, or do you want to,
Well, it really depends, I think, on if I use my ability to stick to walls, how high do I need athletics to be to make it so nothing bad happens?
well, you
I know
automatically have the ability to every time you use the gift, so.
so if I wanted to just climb up a 20-story tower, I just can.
It's more a matter of time, and if the tower has any slick surfaces. Windows might be a
Hmm.
problem. Then again,
Of
windows
course.
aren't specifically slippery unless, I don't know, somebody just cleaned them, which is kind of a
Well,
dick
they are
move.
sheer surfaces.
Yeah. Also, there's panes in between windows that you probably could grab onto. It depends on what the
Hmm.
architecture of the world is.
But I wouldn't necessarily need to have athletics very high to do that.
Right, like I said, more of an automatic thing, seeing as you are a living spider.
Hmm.
Also,
Okay.
I don't know if we mentioned this earlier. Being a Rax PC means that you are also a woman.
Okay.
Rax males are large and unintelligent.
Okay, that's fair.
That's why you have
I
an
will just
empress.
have to play up the female a little bit, that's all.
That's why you're an emperor. You have an empress, not an emperor. I mean, it doesn't say you can't be a butch Rax. I mean, so
uh,
gonna nix the athletics or keep it.
uh, let's nix it for now. It's lower priority.
All right. Questioning. Important to question people, or do you think you're just gonna negotiate your way through every situation?
If I recall right, I think someone's about to be a killbot, so maybe some questioning after the killing is probably a very good idea.
Alright. Put one down there just as a placeholder. Shooting.
Mhm. So I have the choice between the shooting and the whip, and they do take different skills.
I believe the whip is fighting. I'll just double check. Your Zen Harmonic Whip is body, mind, and fighting. Yes.
Okay.
And you've chosen not to go into fighting.
Right.
I should
So,
point out, though, that you do have two fighting weapons and one shooting weapon.
what's the other fighting one? There's the whip, and what's
You have
the...
a Zen Harmonic Whip, and you have a Zen Harmonic Blade. You also have a Zen Harmonic Pistol.
Okay. And I would think speed probably ends up being a part of range, doesn't it?
You mean your pistol? That is speed,
Yes.
mind, and shooting, whereas the whip is body, mind, and fighting, and the blade is body, mind, and fighting as well. All the Zen Harmonic stuff includes your mind because, well, it's very high-tech shit, and you need to know your stuff.
That's really cool. So, question is, do I want to be more of a body character or more of a speed character?
Well, much like before, speed is important for being able to react quickly, evading people that are attacking you, that sort of stuff.
And I do have at least a small little bonus to evasion somewhere, I think.
And body is also very important for being able to soak damage, being able to do physically taxing things. It's kind of up in the
So,
air.
so let's go with the pistol. Let's go with range for now. I will have the melee ones, but we'll see how much use I can get out of them. Worst case
Alright.
scenario, I can just roll body and mind with them.
So far, even with our one mark placeholders, we're at 6, which leaves you 3 points, and you still have to decide if you want to keep with tactics or not.
I definitely want to keep tactics.
Let me just double check something right quick.
Yeah, go ahead and math it out a little bit.
No, I'm trying to remember. I think in this version of the rule set, tactics is used for rallying. Could be wrong. When a nearby ally is when a nearby ally is reeling, confused, or panicked, you may attempt to help them with a rally action using your will and tactics. Yes, so in this version,
There we go.
tactics is used for rallying, which I believe is the most important thing for you, right?
Yes, it is. Then I definitely need 2 or 3 points.
Alright, well, if we put all 3 of your remaining in there, that would give you a d8.
Hmm.
So, do you like your spread? 2 in negotiation, 2 in presence, 1 in questioning, 1 in shooting, and 3 in tactics? Or would you like to spread that out further, or get rid of some?
I think it'll have to do. The thing that keeps bothering me in this system is I just don't feel like I have enough, but I'm never going to be satisfied if I spend all day here fidgeting with this.
It's
So
yours to
this'll...
fidget with.
It is, but I'll just wait until I get some XP and start putting some 1 dots into things like evasion. Hopefully I shouldn't die immediately. One can hope.
Well, as was discussed before, it's good to have at least some die in something,
Hmm.
because it reduces your ability to botch a roll.
The botch, yeah.
Having a 1d6 means you have a 1 in 6 chance to roll a 1, whereas having a d6 and a d4 increases the odds of not. It also
So,
gives you ability to have a favorite use to reroll 1, which then increases the odds even more of not.
right, that's very important. So maybe Presence has 2 right now. If we took away
Yes.
1, we still have 2 other dice to bring up. But
So you
having
have
that 1 in there is very important. So we could do 1 Presence, 1 Evasion.
1 presence, 1 evasion, you said?
Yes. And that'll keep us from falling flat on our face and being very silly.
Let's see, 6, 9. Yep, you're still at total.
Okay.
All right. What are you thinking about motto-wise?
Hmm. Now, that's a fun one to try to conceive of. Silence as I brainstorm.
Well, that's fine. You do that, and I've got to add your agitator starting trappings to the list while we go.
All right, go ahead and do that while I think.
Because now the agitator starts with an aramid outfit. So we can either get rid of one of those if you want, or select between the 2 outfits you currently have. They also have a holdout pistol, which is a concealable weapon, with 2 reloads. Weapons in this game have a capacity, or let's say projectile weapons have a capacity, which goes down the more you use them. So they start at high, or wherever their highest is, and they move down to being empty. You also have a loudspeaker.
Oh, hey, that's fantastic.
And that is your agitator starting trappings. And while you're also thinking, let's find out what the bonuses are for your outfits. You know what? Let's give them their own little section as well. Your Mezzoforte outfit gives you a Psyche bonus of D8.
Oh, that's cool.
When you're wearing it, of course.
Of course.
Let's see, what does your Aramid outfit get you? Nothing. Your Aramid outfit only gives you an armor bonus.
Hey, armor's pretty nice.
Well, your Mezzoforte also gives you an armor bonus, so the Mezzoforte is the only one that gives you an additional skill bonus. Basically, let's see, I know it has a description. The most common armor found in the Myriad is aramid fibers, a polymer weave that is lightweight and tear resistant. Made of strange fabrics synthesized by unknown processes, Marcato, Mezzoforte, Forte, and Fortissimo outfits have a holographic quality on light, changing colors when you look at them from different angles. The otherworldly quality helps conduct xenoharmonic waves. The outfits are also resistant to catastrophic wave collapse. In game terms, the wearers are immune to the bonus damage from the #warp tag.
That sounds very useful.
Yeah, most of the time when somebody is using a xenoharmonic power against you, it'll often induce the warp tag as, you know, they're using strange otherworldly powers. So, I mean, you have both the Aramid outfit and the Mezzoforte outfit, so I guess you have the choice of wearing whichever one you want at whatever time. I'm going to go ahead and put the bonus D6 from the armor into your soak while we're on it, so I remember. So no matter which outfit you're wearing, you have that bonus D6.
Alright, I think I'm ready for motto.
Go ahead.
Let's go with Down with Our Oppressors. I am out on the warpath to take down anyone taking away freedom.
That's a very Hugo Chavez of you. I guess that's always the first one in my mind when I think of revolutionaries.
There's plenty to choose from. I'm not sure there's too many well-known anarchists out there. I can't think of any.
Yeah, surprisingly, they don't organize well enough for us to figure that one out.
I wonder why people who don't like organizing can't organize well.
I know, they always have so many rules, though.
It's so weird. Anyway.
First rule of being an anarchist, no rules. Second rule, don't organize. Third rule, silly rule 1. Alright, do you have anything in mind for a starting goal?
Starting goal. I always go way too grandiose with this because I'm thinking like what the main goal of the character is and not just like what are they going to do for breakfast today.
Well, the description for this is always your first goal should be simple. It's the reason you became an adventurer in the first place. Whereas, on the other hand, rewards for goals achieved has the description that an easy goal should have an easy gift, whereas a long-term goal should have a major gift. That sort of thing. You get the reward out of how long it takes you to accomplish your goals.
How about free one person from bondage?
So noted. Alright, we've already accomplished your starting equipment. Actually, have you chosen what your basic stats will be yet? Your career, mind, body, speed, will, and legacy.
Oh, this is definitely the time to think of it. So let's see. I'm never too certain if it's will or mind that ends up being the social stat, or if it's a mix.
It's a mix. Like you're going to rally with your will, for example.
Then, if it works the same way as Ironclaw, then I think we want the D8 for will,
All right.
and then one of the D6s for mind for sure.
All right.
It was 1d4, 3d6, 2d8.
You start with 2 good traits at D8 each. You start with 3 traits of average, which are D6, and you start with 1 poor trait, which is D4.
Okay. So then actually, it depends on do I want mind to also be D8, or do I want the career to be the D8?
Well, if you select your career to be D8, then your deceit, evasion, and presence automatically have an extra D8 in them.
That sounds
Whereas,
fantastic,
if you
honestly.
select your mind to be D8, everything that uses your mind will also have a D8. So,
hmm
which could be more than just deceit, evasion, and presence. So that's your trade-off.
Um, and mind is used in the attack, isn't it?
Yes. And all of your Zen harmonic stuff, mind is used as your attack. Or with your attack, anyway.
Then let's go ahead and do D8 mind
For the
and
purposes
D6
of
career.
describing all this, we'll say your body is your strength, your health, how you fight and use heavy weapons.
hmm
Your speed is your agility, your coordination, and how you shoot and dodge. Your mind is your wits, your cleverness, how you know stuff and get stuff fixed. Your will is your stubbornness and your bravery, how you compel others and resist others. Your legacy is where you come from and how you use your strange alien powers. And your career is your job and how you do it.
All right then. So let's go with D8 mind. Let's do D6 career. And since everything else will fall into place once I choose the lowest of them, let's make D4 the legacy.
Okay.
I am not the best Rax out there. At least maybe not initially.
Alright, it means you have an athletics of D4, a craft of D4, and a presence of D4. A deceit of D6. An evasion of D6. And a presence of D6. Let's see, what does that double up at? So D4, D6, presence. Oh, 2d4, d6 presence.
Now, alternatively on the list would be having the body be D4, but I think I'd rather be a little less squishy and maybe focus later on being a little bit more persuasive.
Makes sense to me.
Alright, that's looking like quite a lot of stuff so far. What have we not covered?
Have you thought of a name?
No, because I am terrible with names.
I have a random list if you'd like to use that.
Let's do it. Let's see what we got. In fact, pick one at
Alright.
random. Close your eyes and point to where it is.
Alright, let's see here. Actually, you're in the Discord with me. Why don't you just use the sidekick? And we'll see. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 times 5. So 115. Just roll a D115.
What command do I have to give for that? Haven't used
I
it yet.
believe slash roll space D115.
Hey, 72.
72, so 23, 46, 69, 70, 71, 72. Your name is Mythelrin.
Mythelrin the Anarchist.
Mythelrin, rather. I'm sorry. I've mispronounced your name that you just discovered.
Excellent.
Right. Let's see. We've done your marks. Legacy traits are all there. Let's see. Initiative is speed dice and mind dice plus your danger sense. So let's see. Your speed is d6 and your mind's d8.
Alright.
So you have a d6, d8, d12, and initiative.
That's really good.
Your dodge dice is your speed and any evasion you have. So let's see, d4, d6. And that'll be 2d6 for your speed. So d4, 2d6 as your dodge. Your stride is 1 because you don't have fast mover or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Your dash is half of your speed die, so 3. If your body is greater than your speed, add 1 to dash. Was it? It was not.
It is equal.
Equal does not compute. Your scramble is your body and your speed.
2d6.
Correct. And your run is your body plus your speed plus your dash. Maximized. So,
12 plus dash.
which would be 15.
Cool.
Alright, let's see. We'll go through your attack. We're going to go back through your gear. You've got your soak, which is your body. Did you have resolve? You did not. So
No.
you
That would have been
currently.
if I was commander.
So your soak is 2d6.
That's pretty alright.
And your career was d6, which means you have 6 notes. Notes being the currency of the game, fitting in with the Myriad Song, Mezzo Forte. That you get the theme, I imagine.
Indeed.
Right, let's see your attacks. You've got 4 weapons listed. Where am I? Battle array, attacks. Throw those in there, and your holdout pistol.
Oh, I have an additional pistol.
Your holdout pistol is a concealable weapon, whereas the others are not. So if you were going to try and
Hmm.
sneak something in, say, it would probably be your holdout pistol. In fact,
Gotcha.
while we're on it, let's go down. Okay, holdout pistol. That is equipped in your good hand. We don't need to make a note of that because you have so many hands. That threatens at short range, and it can strike up to medium range. That attacks with speed, mind, will, and shooting. So let's see, that is d6. Was that 2d8?
Yep. D6, 2d8, and then shooting, which was
A d4. So d4, d6, 2d8, and it does damage plus 0. Which of course means a +1 to damage for every success, starting at 0. So if you hit somebody with 1 success, that's 1 damage. If you hit somebody with all 4 of your dice, miraculously hitting a d4 as a hit, you would be doing 4 damage.
Okay.
That is a cap high weapon, and we'll cover what that means in a moment. It is also concealable. It's loud, which means when you shoot it, people for a distance are going to be able to hear it. It's affordable, and it's also considered a firearm, which has its own gift section, which we can cover later on when you're trying to learn how, or I'm trying to use your experience.
Okay.
Actually, let me refresh myself on capacity so we can do this now. Because some guns have cooldowns and some guns have capacity. Cooldown weapon, you roll the cooldown die every time you fire it, in which case it might need to well, cool down, as you might imagine. Because
Right.
this is a game with laser weapons and Zen harmonic powers and bullets and arrows and etc. Let's see. Capacity of high or low. Sorry, this is something I never used when I was actually playing the game, so I actually have to learn as we go, which is
Oh boy, we get to learn together then.
okay. So every time you use a weapon, your capacity size drops every use. Just
And then you
weird.
need to take some action to refill capacity, I imagine.
Yes. There we go. A capacity. The weapon has a magazine of ammunition. Each time the weapon is used, ammunition is expended, and a cap drops by 1 size. A cap high weapon, for example, your holdout pistol, has a cap high, drops to cap low after a use. Cap low drops to cap none after it goes from low to none, and a cap none must be reloaded before it can be used again.
Okay.
Uh, there's also a gift of bullet conservation, which will use a firearm with without any capacity loss, but your damage is lowered to flat, which would not be great for a holdout pistol, because that would be damage flat 0, which means you shoot people unlimited times for 0 damage.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, if they got hit for 0 damage, they would still be sent reeling, so basically you would have a great reeling damage weapon.
Which could be pretty fun.
Yeah. Alright, let's go down to your Zen harmonic weapons. Let's see, what do you have? You have a Zen harmonic whip. Zen harmonic whip is an offhand. You've got many of those. That threatens at near. They got to be right up on you for that to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It strikes at near as well. So odds are you'll be right up on them anyway. All the Zen harmonic weapons are both loud, rare, and extravagant because they're so out there tech that nobody rarely ever sees them, unless they're aristocratic like you are.
But I can make it double extravagant, just embedded with diamonds or something.
There you go. Be the rapper that calls for freedom.
Spider wrap.
There you go. Let's see. That is your body, mind, and fighting. Let's see. Your body was D6 and your mind is D8, and you have no fighting dice. So D6, D8, and the whip does damage flat 1, warp, and vulnerable.
Vulnerable sounds fun.
And warp we already covered is an extra hashtag, which means if they're not immune to warp, it does extra damage, extra 2 damage. Vulnerable is a condition, which means that if they weren't already vulnerable, imagine it's like an extra hurt or injured. It will deal extra damage to them if they're vulnerable.
Oh, cool.
Or
So it
not,
could be a little bit supportive then.
sorry, I didn't. I mean, it will cause them to be vulnerable, which will then cause them to take extra damage. It doesn't deal extra damage to them for being vulnerable, although it does if they were already vulnerable. Let me know if I'm
Right,
confusing
it sets
you.
them up for it.
All right.
That'll be fun. I like that kind of support. One moment.
Let's see. Lower pistol, short and medium.
Alright.
Yeah, your Zen harmonic pistol threatens at short range and strikes at medium range. It attacks with your speed, mind, and shooting, so it's a D4, D6, D8, I believe. Yes. What do we do? We do damage flat 1, warp, and vulnerable, same as your whip. It just basically your whip at longer range. Let's see. In dull light, the Zen harmonic guns look like some silvery metal, but in stronger light, a holographic pattern of interlocking triangles is freely visible. So light at first touch, someone might confuse the gun to be a mere toy. It only takes a pull of the trigger to see that nothing could be further from the truth. By varying trigger pull, strength, and speed, a skilled operator can get very unusual results from the weapon.
Very fun.
And let's see.
I do want to note on stream, we are not centered on the combat section.
Yes, unfortunately here. Adding a lot of extra space to your notepad.
Oh boy.
Alright, and lastly you have your blade. The Zen harmonic blade threatens at close and strikes at near. That is your body, mind, and fighting, which I believe is the, let's see, body D6 and mind D8,
D8?
and you have no fighting.
Correct.
The Zen harmonic blade is flat 2 instead of flat 1 like the rest, but also does warp and vulnerable.
I'm sensing a little theme with these weapons now.
Well, they are very high tech. And I believe that is everything. Unless you can think of something else you specifically wanted to add to the character that I've forgotten.
We did not finish off Ally. We gotta define who he
yes.
is. Who's gonna be my best friend?
Well, did you want to name them first?
I
mean, it's just a random roll.
Let's go ahead and do a random roll. Same number?
Yep.
Let's do it.
What'd you get?
115. Last one on the list.
Your ally's name is Zigzee.
Zigzee. My best friend.
Basically, you need to choose a legacy and a career for them. So what are you imagining for Zigzee?
That's the good question. What kind of person do I want Ziggsy to be? What compliments me?
What role in your operation does Ziggsy fill? How about this?
Hmm.
What race is Ziggsy? What legacy, rather?
There's an even tougher question. Uh, Maybe he should be the underworld contact. He's the one who keeps the operation going.
Well, unfortunately, Ziggsy doesn't get an upbringing, so he doesn't get that underworld bonus. I mean,
Ah,
he can have a career that represents that, but unfortunately, he will not have the upbringing to handle it because he's not as refined a person as you. There's a reason he
right.
looks up to you and you don't look up to him. I don't know, you could.
Mhm.
That's your choice.
Hmm. So what kind of careers can we choose for him? What kind of really fits?
Let's go with his legacy first. What race is he going to be? Is he going to be the octopus-like anthropomorphic Ishato? Is he going to be the bird-like Adhelion? Eel-like Elvers? Basic human?
I
Uh,
think I want him to be a Troodon, and I think I want him to be our technician or mechanic.
all right. Hold on one
Because I
second.
have this distinct feeling this is something no one else will think of or do or choose.
All right. You said Shrodon.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Shrodon. Shrodon. And let's see. Shrodon start with athletics, fighting, and tactics.
Ooh.
So even he will be good at rallying, or she, depending what you want.
Mm-hmm. Trustworthy second in command.
Oh, and for the benefit, again, of anybody watching, Shodons are warm bar. Basically, think of like velociraptors with opposable thumbs.
Clever girl.
Anyone familiar with Star Wars might think the Siruvi, although that's expanded universe and probably no longer applies.
I have seen many a Star Wars race, and definitely not that one.
Yes. They also start with Frenzy and Rushing Attack, which means they can get up close to someone's face, and if you try to make them afraid, they might just go crazy in your face.
Ah, very fun. That goes well with having just an innate fighting bonus, too. Oh man, he's filling like 3 roles at once for me.
And of course, an ally is a minor character, which means that they only have d6s on all of their stats. So even their skills will only be d6s no matter what they are.
Ah, but that's good because it means they don't have any bad stats.
Well, it'll also be very easy for you to remember what they roll.
Yes.
Now, you said you wanted them to be what sort of career?
Sort of my technician or mechanic. Something filling a technical
So, an
role.
engineer, perhaps?
Perfect.
Engineers solve practical problems with their extensive training in electromagnetical principles. Choose this intellectual career if you want to rewire, repurpose, and repair all manner of mechanics. That's what you want
There
to go
we
with?
go.
Okay,
Yes, it
an
is.
engineer. Alright, an engineer starts with academics. Academics, craft, and observation. And they have the gifts of electronics, meaning he's good with dealing with electronic items, or has a bonus to it at least, and mechanics.
Excellent.
Oh, now let's get him some equipment. He has exactly as much money on hand as you do.
So how does the ally work? Just simply as a secondary character I have semi-control of, or...
It's technically back and forth between us. You can declare what he's doing, and if it doesn't go against what I envision him as doing, we go with that. Technically, he's under my purview as an NPC, but I
Mhm.
mean, I'd rather leave it up to you, because you also have the
Alright.
gang of irregulars, which are more directly under my purview. And since you might have
Right,
more of
right.
them during a session, actually, I'll go over with you what that entails now that we know what your roles are going to be. But let me just finish giving your best friend his stuff,
Right. Gotta set him up.
because he also has a hold-that pistol with 2 reloads, and he has a pencil and graph paper. You know, for your impromptu dungeon map, for when you all decide to play your own game of D&D.
We gotta go deeper with this. The characters in that game that we break out in the middle of this game, go ahead and start making another game.
Alright, gang of irregulars. At the start of the game session, you would roll your mind and questioning and a d8 assist bonus from your ally. For each success, you have 1 irregular, a minor character controlled by me. An
Mhm.
irregular looks out for your player character's best interest, but not to the same extent an ally does. An irregular will hang out as long as you take care of them, but if you're not paying them or providing for them, they will leave. An irregular will follow you into battle, but heroes they ain't. If they become panicked or injured, they will flee unless otherwise convinced to stay.
Right. So slightly more groupies than anything, I think.
Basically, they're the people that you were like, "Hey, down with the proletariat," and they're like, "Yeah, fuck the
Yeah.
proletariat." Now, have we forgotten anything?
Hmm. Have we? It definitely sounds like we've covered everything.
And I'm
We
seeing
put a
you have
couple
an
things
ear
on
near.
hold and came back to them.
Well, is there any other questions about anything else that you have? Your gifts or skills or anything of that nature?
I guess the only question I'd really have would be something more particular to the game you're running, which is like how the scenario, how we're getting around, and all that. But I don't expect you to maybe
Nope, no
have the
spoilers.
answer to that right now. Yeah, no spoilers. Is there anything you think I should know or be aware of?
Unfortunately, I believe the first session would probably be a game of re-educating the differences between Myriad Song and Ironclaw, because there are some. Because otherwise,
Right.
Myriad Song is just an update on the Cardinal version 2 engine, which is what Ironclaw currently runs on. So the differences are few and far between, but otherwise of note.
All right then. And I think this character is ready to rally his friends to free the galaxy from literally every single person.
Or at least one person.
Or at least one. You get start small. Know your limits.
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
All right.
Alright, that's been Myriad Song character creation for Mythelrin, otherwise played by GriffinVarro, and I will see you on the first session day.
Tune in next time to see while we explode.